There's so many. Has anyone been to them all?
Not likely.
I want to be the first one to see them all.
Truly wonderful the mind of a child is.
Come on. When you find people who need your help, you help them. No matter what.
Good luck.
We have hope. Hope that things can get better. And they will.
Stand up together. Because that's when we're strongest. As one.
You won't be going alone. You'll have a friend with you.
No. I'll have a Jedi with me.
You might wanna buckle up, baby.
Rise in the Force.
Take care of us, little one.
It'll take care of you. We had each other. That's how we won.
The Force is strong in my family.
Its energy surrounds us and binds us.
What is it they've sent us?
Hope.
Hello there.
Hello there.
Greetings and salutations. Welcome to the debut of Ahsoka's weekly mission here at Nerd Culture Channel. This is a show where we spoiler heavy discuss the latest episodes of this brand new series that has just dropped on Disney Plus, known as Ahsoka, starring Rosario Dawson, the late great Ray Stevenson, among many, many, many other actors and actresses. I am your host, Ryan of Nerd Culture, and I am not alone into this on this journey into the galaxy far, far away, talking about how Ahsoka is awesome. Please welcome one of my co-hosts for this episode. JL Gribble is here with us. Hello, JL. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I could not be more thrilled and more excited to talk Star Wars because Star Wars is alive and well. And also joining us on this epic journey is someone who has recently been a part of the And I Quote interview series, which you can find on our YouTube channel and the And I Quote playlist after you're done watching this incredible episode of Ahsoka's weekly mission. Boy, that's a lot of words. Please welcome Derek Tyler Attico, who's not just a Trekkie. No. He's an even bigger fan of the Wars Within the Stars. Isn't that right, Derek?
Oh, I don't know if I'm going to say bigger. I would say equal because, we want to keep everybody happy. So I'll say I'm an equal fan of Star Trek and Star Wars. I love them both. They both have equal places in my heart.
That's
I'm sorry, this is clear Stargate erasure.
Oh, there you go. Love it.
There's so many different titles of properties that start with the word star, so we'll leave it at that. We'll talk more about that in the green room after the show when we go to the canteen and have a few drinks. But if this is your first time here, welcome. Thank you for being with us. Do not forget to like and share this with everyone you know. If you have any thoughts, questions, theories about Ahsoka, where you think the series is going to go, where you think Star Wars is going to go as a whole, let us know them in the comments. Let us know in the chat. We're going to be keeping an eye on it as we go throughout the course of this show. Once again, this is going to be spoiler heavy. Spoilers are in play here. So if you have yet to see the 2-episode premiere, put this episode in your watch later list and then come back after you've seen the greatness that is Ahsoka starring Rosario Dawson and company. Then you can watch this. But other than that, with that out of the way, because you've been warned. So I'm going to turn things over to JL here for a moment. JL, what are the positives for you that stood out in this 2-episode premiere of Ahsoka?
Well, I'm JL, and I am your token Sabine Wren fangirl. So, no, I was... Well, I think probably the coolest part, which started when Ahsoka first showed up in Mandalorian for me, is just seeing all these characters who I fell in love with in Rebels, which is basically my top Star Wars property that I'm a fan of. So seeing these characters like brought to life in a live action show is really freaking awesome. I think they did an excellent job with the casting, and just, even little things like the little Hera's little phantom shuttle and Chopper being pretty much exactly like the droid being exactly like he was in the show was really, really cool.
Fantastic stuff. Appreciate that. Good thoughts. Very good thoughts. But I am curious, though. Derek, any positives for you that stood out in this 2-episode premiere?
Well, first of all, I'll say I have a Millennium Falcon, and I have a Starship. So okay, yes, positives. Well, I mean, there's just so many. First of all, doesn't it feel like a Rebels season 5, right? You know, and I know it's live action, but it feels like a Rebels season 5. It just flows right from the end of Rebels into this season, even though it is Ahsoka's show. But there's so much going on. I mean, just the beginning of it, it felt a lot of it, just because we have Dave Filoni writing and directing this first episode, a lot of it felt to me like he was doing it in the spirit and theme of the 70s and Star Wars episode 4, New Hope. We had that slow burn. It had a slow burn as opposed to episode 4, which, you know, opened like gangbusters. But a lot of the shots and a lot of it just felt and even looked, just took me right back to episode 4 immediately. And I don't think that was by accident. I think all of that was on purpose.
That's a fair point. So for me, the positives that stood out were how the very beginning, where it gets started off with a lightsaber and blaster fight on the ship. I mean, they were kind of pulling some pages out of A New Hope there.
Sure.
With these two mysterious, are they Jedi? Are they not Jedi? Are they something else? They show up and they're like, no, we're not your average Jedi. You know, just
right.
The gut. And I'm thinking, okay, this is serious. They're not wasting any time in this opening sequence, especially. And by the way, R.I.P. Ray Stevenson. R.I.P. Ray Stevenson, because
yes. Oh, he's killing it.
Yeah,
he's killing it.
No pun intended.
No pun intended, of course. No, he's just, as an actor, he's just crushing it. And he just looks so massive.
Yeah, he is.
Right? I'm like, is that an outfit? I'm like, no, I think that's him. This looks massive. I don't know if he was working out for the role, but I'm like, dude, kudos, man. I need to work out because you look massive. And his fighting style and stance, it was just phenomenal opening. Just a phenomenal opener, yeah.
Yeah, so that was one thing that stood out to me in the opening. But one of the positives that stood out for me was this was a continuation of Rebels, yes. And some people were talking about this, other corners in the interweb, saying that some of the pacing was off, it was slow, it wasn't fast enough. I'm thinking, wait a minute. These characters haven't seen each other in a while. They haven't seen each other in a long time to a certain degree. So when you see characters trying to figure out what to say, they're recovering from past traumas. Like Sabine's, you know, still grieving the loss or the mysterious disappearing of Ezra. Ahsoka's trying to, you know, revamp everything in her mind and figure out how best to defeat this threat, even though she has the map, which, you know, the map tells her where Thrawn is hiding, or the mysterious, you know, Thrawn, is he dead? Is he not dead? Where is he hiding out? Is he doing something weird? But the positives for me was, I think the cast did a really good job with the parts they're playing, because there's some new actors and actresses that I'm not overly familiar with. The one who's playing Sabine Wren, I think she did a really good job. I mean, Rosario is Rosario. I mean, she owns it. She owns it big time. The cloak and dagger, 2 sabers, slicing and dicing, laying the smack down on Evil's candy behind when she had to. I mean, she delivers on all fronts, but the cast around her, I think, is doing a good job as well. So for me, the positives were the emotions that were presented in on these 2 episodes, respectively. Baylan Skoll, played by Ray Stevenson. That guy's like, what, 6'8", 6'9"? I mean, the guy is a beast. So he intrigues me. His new apprentice, this new actress playing Shin, she's intriguing. I just think the cast is the thing that stood out to me the most positively about this, because some of these actors are new, up-and-comers. Maybe they've been in other stuff that I'm just not aware of. I'm sorry. I don't know everything there is to know about Hollywood.
Because I went and looked up Shin, because I was like, what? She was doing such a great job. I was like, oh, what else have I seen her in? And she is a relative newcomer. She's a Ukrainian actress. So I'm looking forward to see where she goes.
Nice. And if I could just talk for a minute about the writing.
Yeah.
I love what Filoni is doing with the writing, because the first time our lead character Ahsoka is mentioned, right? It's from the lips of the antagonist of the show, right?
Morgan. Yeah.
Right. This Jedi hat, and he's like, well, what Jedi? Ahsoka Tano. That's the first time we actually hear the name, and then when we see Ahsoka, it's a really great film technique where film is not about dialogue. Film is about images, and we go at least like a minute, 2 minutes, and there's no dialogue. It's just Ahsoka, and she's trying to figure out, she's using the Force, and she's feeling like where she's trying to find this thing, and she uses
doing a video game puzzle. It's great.
it's exactly, but that's so old school. I love that because you don't need dialogue to ruin a moment. You just want to feel that moment. You just want that slow burn. You just want to let that marinate and just take that pause. And I love that. I love those first few moments of just sitting there with her, figuring it out with her. And it also felt reminiscent of Raiders of the Lost Ark as well. Mm-hmm. Really good stuff.
Going down to the temple, finding the orb, the artifact, and Indy's like, how do I
yes,
and then figuring out the puzzle, because the orb is a puzzle within itself. You have to twist it, turn it. It's like that game we used to play, Simon, whatever, not Simon, but like Snap It, Bop It. That was it. So you remember that? Yeah. So, but yeah, the positives for me were the acting, the visual effects. Oh my dear Lord.
Oh yeah.
Visuals. Dude, let's talk about that for a minute, because the ships look fabulous. The costumes look really solid, but just the aesthetic of it, just all of it. You feel like you're at Lothal. And also, by the way, Clancy Brown, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Clancy Brown shows up with the thick beard, the gray clothing, the cape, and everything. And he's doing the ceremony saying, hey, we're paying tribute to the Rebels characters who saved Lothal, but kind of like saved our, the galaxy as a whole. And and she doesn't even show up. She doesn't even bother to show up. And the other thing is, she's like hiking off on her speeder, and the two fighters are like, hey, you're needed back at the Citadel because they're doing this. And she's like, I don't want any part of it. It's not my problem. Sorry, go ahead, JL.
Yeah, well, it's like you mentioned Clancy Brown. Like, there's some dark horse stars in this, because the voice of the droid Hu Yang is David Tennant.
That's right.
He was great too.
Yep.
He was really good.
Really good.
And he drops those. I mean, these lines were uttered in the trailer, but he says them in the show, and he says, perhaps it is time to begin again. Like, you left and you had your issues, but now that you have your saber, and it's designed to your specifications, it's your lightsaber.
It's your lightsaber.
It's your time. It is your time, and you got to join up with Ahsoka because she's your mentor. She can do it. Like, it's the rule of two, right? It's the rule of two.
It's always two. Maybe for me, maybe just speaking for myself, but I felt like Lothal was a character as well, because in the animated series, we saw these great images. We saw Ezra's place where he hung out. We saw the city of Lothal. We saw how it was, right, and now we see it live action. And it was like a literal 1-to-1 representation. There was nothing different, at least for me, in animation as live. I'm like, oh wow, that's literally what I saw in animation. Mm-hmm. Everything was perfect, and that just really immediately brought me into the setting with a sense of familiarity that I really wasn't expecting to have. And I had it immediately, and I really loved that. And that's an attention to detail that I hadn't really expected. To be honest,
Yeah, and another thing that stood out to me, and this is I go back to the visual effects. I want a Loth cat so bad.
Oh yeah, right.
I want that cat that's like chillaxing in Sabine Wren's home at the old school communications tower, which I believe that's where Ezra used
to hang out.
Yeah, that was Ezra's house. Yeah,
that was Ezra's house. Now it's Sabine. So I'm thinking, can I have the Loth cat? I know it's CGI, but like I think it is. But can I have a Loth cat, please? Honestly, I'm not really a big pets, but like that Loth cat
with the skinny little legs and
I know the creepy little chicken legs.
Who cares? It's still a cat.
It's so cute, yeah.
It's so
Yeah.
it's so cute though. Does anyone else want a lost cat? I want one.
Yeah, that's really, it's really, really good
I,
stuff, right? Yeah.
I want a lost cat so bad. But yeah, the cast does a great job. The costumes look great. The journey itself, and this is something we've never seen before in a Star Wars TV series. We have an opening crawl.
Yeah,
minute.
it was red.
Great. That was a callback. I mean, Filoni's mentor is literally George Lucas.
Yeah.
So obviously, it's obvious a homage to Lucas and Star Wars. I mean, come on, it's great. It's great stuff.
The opening crawl I was surprised, but at the same time, it helped because I haven't seen Rebels in so long, and I watched the episodes that she appears in within Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett, whatever it was. But to see the crawl give an explanation of like, here's where we're at, here's what's going on, here's why Ahsoka's after Thrawn, here's why Morgan Elsbeth, which by the way, she reveals a huge tie-in to Star Wars legacy characters too, because she reveals she's from Dathomir.
That's right.
The Witches of Dathomir. And I remember I just finished reading this about a week ago, Dark Disciple, which stars Quinlan Voss and Asajj Ventress. And Asajj Ventress is a sister of Dathomir. She's, she was a part of that clan of witches. And Shin, the new character, Shin looks at her and she says, is this witchcraft? And she's like, no, this is power. I'm like, well, I'm seeing you work the orb there and it's green smoke coming out of it. Yeah, that's witchcraft, honey. But Morgan doesn't straight up say I'm a witch. She just says, no, I'm just part of a legacy. I'm part of a legacy. That's what I do. That's what I'm a part of. So I like how they tie that into Dathomir, because the last time I heard it was reading in the book Dark Disciple, which, by the way, Dark Disciple is a solid, and I do mean solid, Star Wars standalone novel by Christy Golden. If you have not read that, add it to your reading list, because that book is just lit. So those were the positives that stood out to me for Ahsoka. I think the cast is doing a really good job. I look forward to seeing what Hera does a little bit more, because I still see a little bit of Mary Elizabeth Winstead when I look at her, but she's slowly but she's becoming Hera. She's becoming it. It's going to take time because it's only been 2 episodes. But Chopper, on the other hand, he never changed.
I love Chopper. I love him.
Character. He's the same character you saw in the series. He's the same one. He shows up. He's in the ship. Chopper, get one of those locator beacons. I need you to find one. Did you check the battery?
under the thing. With the thing. Right.
Yeah, did you check under the lower battery? It's just, I'm sorry, that's a horrible impression. I'm sorry.
No, it was good, man. It was good. I love it. I love Chop. I love Chop.
And he's throwing stuff, he's throwing like wrenches and other, I don't know. Anyway, so those are the positives that stood out to me, and the way the episode ended, it's like, oh, Sabine and Ahsoka, they're together and they're in the ship. And she says, take us out, Padawan. Ooh, you know what that means. Padawan, master, apprentice. We got some new Jedi up and comings here, folks, which makes me even more excited to see where this goes. So, on the other side of the coin, JL, flip side of the coin, JL Gribble, any negatives for you that stand out in these 2 episodes, if any?
I will say that the pacing did feel a little bit slow to me. I agree with you about how these characters, how they haven't seen each other. They kind of have to adjust and calibrate and everything. But just even the length of time between bits of dialogue felt strangely drawn out to me. I'm gonna cross the streams a little bit. If anybody saw the crossover episode of Star Trek Discovery with Lower Decks, and one of the Lower Decks character says, why is everybody talking so slow? And like, I thought about that while I was watching the episodes. Like, why is everybody just talking so slowly? But maybe that is because I'm so used to seeing these characters in an animated, let's be real, kids show. And so there is going to have to be some adjustment to seeing them in a different context. So
that's fair. Yeah, some people have stated that online. The pacing was way off. They felt like it was a bit of a slog fest.
But like I said, it wasn't the story pacing. It was literally like the within scene action, like not the action scenes, but just like the some of the more dialogue heavy scenes, and it wasn't all of them. So I think the ones that were a little bit slower did just kind of stood out to me.
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. And once again, we are talking a spoiler-heavy discussion of the first 2 episodes of Ahsoka. If you're just joining us, don't forget to like and share this episode with all of your closest friends. If you have any feelings about this show or theories about where you think it's going to go, some of the things that are happening within the Star Wars galaxy far, far away in terms of the books, the comics, games, whatever, let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat. Be very curious and excited to hear and see those thoughts as we continue with the discussion of the first 2 episodes of Ahsoka, which is currently streaming on Disney+. Derek, any negatives for you when it comes to this premiere?
I didn't find anything in regards to the dialogue. You know, I mean, and you never know like what sequence things are shot, maybe if they're out of order or not. You know, so I don't know about that. The only thing that I found a little off for me is I remember watching the scene when they're introducing basically Sabine's character, and it's at the ceremony, and she hasn't shown up, and you know I've seen that 1,000 times, and you know the character is supposed to speak, and the character hasn't shown up, and it's like, where's the character? And then we cut to where the character is, and it's just that I've seen that 1,000 times, and I don't want to experience something that I've seen 1,000 times. You know, there are a lot of ways to do that, and I'm just wondering why that particular way was chosen. And then when we have her on the highway, on the freeway, expressway, whatever it is, that whole sequence is to show newcomers that, you know, Sabine is not to be messed with, that she's a rebel, you know, and that she won't, she goes against the grain. I get that. But I mean, playing chicken against an X-Wing, okay, that's cool. But I don't know. I guess for me personally, I would have preferred something a little bit more interesting than that, because I think that I've seen that a lot as well. So those 2 scenes I've seen a lot in a lot of different things, in a lot of different ways. And I just would like to have seen something different that could have conveyed the same things that you want to convey about that character, that she's a rebel and that she didn't have time for whatever reason to be at the ceremony. I mean, I get she didn't want to be at the ceremony because for her it's not complete, because for her family isn't there. You know, she probably would have been there if everyone was there. That was the point. And I think there was a different way to express that for Sabine's character. And I think there was a different way, and maybe a more emotional way, to express that Sabine is a rebel than having her play chicken against a X-Men. That's just for me. Everything else I was cool with. Everything else I thought was fantastic.
I can understand that. I can understand that. So, and thank you for sharing that with us. For me, something that just felt a bit off for me, and these are just nitpicks as far as the negatives,
Right.
but I am curious. Mary Elizabeth Winstead, like, she's Hera, yeah, but I still look at her and I see Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
Really?
To a degree, to a small degree. When I look at her, I'm like, it's you dressed in a different outfit and makeup. I don't know if I see Hera yet. She's getting there, but I just look at her.
Somebody who's not a huge Mary Elizabeth Winstead fan, I have no problem with it. Whereas my spouse, who is a huge Scott Pilgrim versus the World fan, like, he feels very much the same as you.
Really?
So,
I mean, like, I'm not saying she's a horrible actress by any stretch. She's a great young actress who's been doing really good work. I mean, what was it called? I believe it was called 11 or 30. 30 Cloverfield Lane.
Oh yeah, she killed in that.
She was. She
Well,
had to kill in that movie.
Right. Keep saying that. Right.
You keep saying the word "killing" it, and I'm thinking, well, a lot of these characters have killed, so let's not go violence here. But no, I'm just kidding. So 33 or 30 Cloverfield Lane, whatever it was. Mary Elizabeth Winstead is a gifted actress. I'm not saying she's playing this role badly, not at all. I'm just saying to myself, I look at her and I see someone in a costume and this outfit, but I'm not quite seeing Hera yet. I still see
contacts are also a bit much. Like,
Yeah.
I get that she has really bright blue eyes, but like,
No.
there was one scene between Hera and Ahsoka, and I'm like, wow, both of these women are wearing very obvious contact lenses.
I didn't even notice that. Really? I didn't even notice that. That's interesting. Now I'm going to be looking, but I didn't even notice that.
You can always go back and rewatch it. That's the beauty of replays, my friend. But I will say, I just felt like I got a little bit of a Mary Elizabeth Winstead and not so much Hera. But then again, it's only 2 episodes. Right. She's got plenty of time to go into this role and become this character, and that's fine.
I hate to break it to you, but I don't know that Hera is in much more of the show. Because IMDb says she's only in 2 episodes.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. Okay.
Sorry, because I was looking at all the actors and then I got super excited.
Well, maybe she appears as a hologram. I don't know. Right. Maybe. Yeah. And I think JL just froze on us. Am I the only one?
Oh, there you go.
There you are. You're alive.
So can I ask you both something really quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Is it me or did the makeup for Rosario, who's playing Ahsoka, improve?
Yes.
It did, right?
Because not great, but it did get better.
It feels like her facial makeup and stuff, it seems sharper. It seems something feels more defined. And I couldn't put my finger on it, but it just really kind of popped to me. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh wow. And more so than from The Mandalorian.
Well, I mean, you have to think of how much work they're going to put into a guest star versus this is the title character.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So the Mary Elizabeth Winstead thing's kind of thrown me off. And if she's only in 2 episodes, wow, that was a short reunion.
Wow.
Maybe she'll appear as a hologram in future episodes because she's been doing that a lot lately.
No.
So, which is fine. I mean, if that's her way of acting and playing the character, that's fine because people receive holograms all the time. I just watched a bunch of episodes of Clone Wars where half the characters are showing up as holograms. So,
well, you mentioned the special effects. What's really funny to me is when Sabine unlocks the orb and you see the galaxy for the first time. I was like, so impressed by that because in my head I was so used to the shitty Star Wars holograms that we're so used to. So that was such an excellent way to show that this is technology on a way different level than we're used to. So I think that was really well done.
Yeah,
especially if they're traveling between galaxies.
They're traveling between galaxies. Hey, something else I want to say really quick is that it's just an idea running in my head, but I think between Jedi, Sith, Gray Jedi, whatever, between the Witches of Dathomir, between all these different, I'm just starting to feel like everyone is using the Force in different ways. So it's still the Force, but I think everyone is just using it differently, and I'm wondering if that's what we're going to discover. So even these. Whoever, if we meet these people or entities in this other galaxy, if they are still using the Force or tapping into it, but using it in a different way,
I mean, don't forget that we're also going to get space whales in the next.
Right. And time travel is dope in Star Wars. In my opinion, because. I mean, look at how Ahsoka was saved in Rebels, right? Where you could go into a point of time and get somebody and bring them out. And I was like, what? Because that's how she was saved when she was fighting Vader, man. That was awesome. Are you kidding me? I'm sorry, my head is going to explode.
I haven't rewatched those episodes yet, so thanks for giving me that minor spoiler. But I do remember. I do remember the portal, but it's been a hot minute since I've watched it to understand it. Because time travel for me in Star Wars is a bit of a different kind of set of cards. Because I'm used to movies like Back to the Future and the Terminator talking about time, and then you had Avengers talking about a time heist, and I'm like. Wait, you're telling me everything we learned in Terminator and Back to the Future was all BS?
Right.
I don't know. Maybe it was. I hope not, because Back to the Future explained it pretty darn well. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. That's from 1985. That's not about this. So this is a minor nitpick, right? So this is going into my negatives. So Sabine plays a huge part in this series because her hair is long in one scene, and then you see in the trailers that her hair is cut in another, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when she has the duel at the end of episode 1 against Shin, and Shin stabs her right through the gut, I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. Are we killing? I mean, you can't kill off one of your lead characters in the first episode, can you?
I thought they were. I thought they were. Honestly,
I knew that they were not. I was like,
we're gonna be told and go there.
I was freaking out a little bit. I'm like, did I just witness one of our big name characters dying in the first 50 minutes of this show?
Right.
Like, what is going on? Because that was a heck of a fight. But then obviously she lost because of the inexperience that she has as a Padawan /
Right.
But
JL knew.
Shin she didn't care. Shin just stabbed her right through the gut. And I'm thinking, this isn't good. This isn't good. Are you really going to kill off one of our good characters? Like, are you serious? But then the next episode, she's fine. It's just a scratch.
Right.
I think the reason
a through and through. A lightsaber through and through. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Right?
It cauterizes immediately. It's not like you're gonna bleed out.
Right. It cauterizes immediately.
It just threw me off because I'm thinking, are you really going to kill off somebody in the first 50 minutes? Because she's kind of a legacy character. I don't know if you want to kill her off that quick. Plus, she deserves to go out in a blaze of glory, not like that when she's not even been trained yet. Come on.
Right.
But when she wakes up in the infirmary in the next episode, I'm like, okay, 2 reasons why she's still alive. 1, because she's kind of force sensitive. So I think the force was kind of protecting her there. And 2, Ahsoka got to her before she could bleed out and die.
Yeah.
But she got to her like right at the second that she needed her most. And took her to the infirmary to get fixed. And then when she wakes up, she's like, what happened? You had an accident. You're going to be fine. And then she lifts up her shirt and you see the scar. And I'm like, dang, they sewed that up quick.
That's what the Bacta tank is for.
That's right. We all need the Bacta tank, right? You know,
that was super fast. And then the other thing that brings to mind is that scene in, I know a lot of people don't like to talk about this, but in Rise of Skywalker, Rey stabs Kylo through the gut, and then she uses her force capabilities to, just sew him back up again.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, I'm getting some shades of Rise of Skywalker here, which is fine because people who are force sensitive may have the abilities to heal because people have used them before, right? I don't know.
Right.
But that just threw me off. But then when she wakes up in the infirmary 2 seconds later and David Tennant's like, you're okay, right? Like, you're going to be like, he's just like, you're going to be fine. just rest. Don't worry about Ahsoka. Don't worry about what's her fate. Don't worry about Shin getting the map. And then Ahsoka interrogates, like, did you find out where the map goes? She's like, yeah. Well, where does it go? I couldn't pull the coordinates. They took it before I got a chance to like really take down the data. But then the droid that was hiding out in her loft, hey, just cut his head off. We'll figure it out. Just take the circuits. And remember, David Tennant's panicking. He's like, the thermal core is getting hot. You don't want to have it too hot because if it gets too hot, we're all going to die. He's like, no, don't worry about it. I got it. Anyway. Those are the things that threw me off. Those are kind of the negatives for me, but those are, nitpicks in the scheme of things. Because overall,
Yeah, my nitpicks are probably when they were trying to find, like, they set up the whole, like, Sabine's a rebel. She's, running away from the capital. And then after she took the map and they're like, oh, we have to find Sabine. Everybody has to know where she lives, right? Like, I don't see why that was so dramatic.
Serious, right. I mean, you got to know that she's hanging out at Ezra's old place, right?
Yeah, like, if she's that important to, like, the governor probably knows where she lives. Yeah. And I imagine that Hera and Ahsoka probably know where she lives. So just they made that a little more dramatic than it needed to be. But again, it's like, I'm having to dig real deep to find anything to criticize because overall I loved it. And like the fact that I got to see 2 episodes of Star Wars, and it's probably not going to change anytime soon, of like all the main characters and all of the like power players and like plot mover people of the episode are all female characters, which is amazing.
That's right. And you know what would have been a deep dive? But I get why they had it at Ezra's tower. If Sabine was at where Ezra's parents was hanging out in the sewer system or something like that. Remember that? That other place. But no, I think the tower is actually a better place though. But I mean, even our nitpicks are not really nitpick. I mean, like you said, it's 2 episodes. It's great. The second episode I thought was dope, where they go to the Navy yards, and Ahsoka is like, has anybody checked that her operations is not still running? It's like, and then there's silence. It's like, has anybody checked that the Empire's old operation is not still up and running?
Yeah, that's another. I forgot to bring that up, and I'm glad that you did, because one of the things that stood out to me that I liked was that we're discovering more of the cracks.
Yes.
We've seen them a little bit in Andor.
Yeah, Mandalorian. Yeah.
I love that how deep into the world all of these shows are going.
Absolutely.
To show like really it's not just the Emperor and senators. It's even these people who are supposedly just the workers who only care about a paycheck, like they're still important. Everybody's the hero of their own story, and everyone in Star Wars is kind of a hero, even if we're not watching their story.
Yeah, right. And it's all set up by George Lucas that, this machine is so large that, literally, whether it's Empire or Rebellion or now New Republic, one hand literally does not know what the other is doing. And within that, there is the opportunity for chaos and mayhem, whether you be light or dark, good or bad, and so therein lies the problem. So you have to keep an eye on things, because this calamity is literally at every turn, and as we saw in episode 2, right? That's the problem. So it's really, really, really set up beautifully, actually.
Yeah, the thing I was getting at with the New Republic thing is that we're seeing the cracks, because there are still loyalists to the Empire, or as I think it was Ahsoka or Hera. I think Ahsoka said it's not loyalty, it's greed.
It's greed.
Yeah.
Not about loyalty, it's about greed. Who has the power? Who can do what? And with whose power? So, and also we get a guest starring role by Peter Jacobson as the administrator of the shipyards, which I thought was kind of cool, because he's been in a million things in his career, including the TV series House.
That's why I immediately was like, oh, it's the Doctor.
The Doctor, that's right. Yeah, and he plays, a kind of a scheming, dirty, filthy administrator. It's like, yeah, everything's on the up and up. Not really, because and one of them says in the middle of the episode, "Long live the Empire," and they have to take him out because can't have that. So the thing I like about this is not only seeing characters and planets and environments that we've previously seen in the animated series, but they're coming to life. And we're seeing the cracks.
Have we ever been on Corellia before? Because that was really cool.
No, I don't think so. Except
that's where the shipyard was Corellia.
Corellia, yeah, which was great. And like you said, JL, we're seeing everything from Rogue One to Andor. It's all these connections we're starting to intersect now. And it's a larger universe, a larger, Star Wars universe we're starting to understand and see. It's beautiful. It's really great.
Yeah, I tell you, it's a thing of beauty. So yeah, we're seeing the cracks in New Republic, seeing what works, what doesn't work. People are not checking on whether these criminal enterprises have completely been shut down and dismantled, because Morgan Elsbeth, aka Witch Dathomir, I'm saying it. Yeah, she's a witch, guys. She's a witch. She says she's not, but come on, the stuff she was doing.
A bad witch, not a good witch.
Well, is it a bad witch? Is it a good witch? Yeah, now you're going way back to 1939, but. Listen, by the way, R.I.P. to those actors and actresses who took part in The Wizard of Oz, include Judy Garland. Miss you. But with this showing the cracks, I like it, because we don't always see, like we see the Jedi and the Sith, we see good and bad, but there's these other pieces, these darker parts, these things we don't always see in Star Wars. Which the New Republic, how does it work? Who's really running the shipyards? Who's really running the droids? Who's operating or dismantling these remnants of the supposed empire that's still... Basically, what I'm saying is this show and other shows within the Star Wars galaxy are planting the seeds for the First Order.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing.
Yeah.
And I think they're doing it really well. I mean, Dave Filoni's been doing this for 20, 30 some odd years. This guy knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
He knows exactly where... Because Ahsoka and the other series, they're leading up to this big team-up, right? Mando's going to have something to do with it. Book of Boba Fett, Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, Ahsoka. All these shows are going to Avengers assemble and come together to face.
I hope so. Yeah.
Either Thrawn or like Thrawn and his enemy in his armies or whatever it may be. But Dave Filoni, we know that you're so money you just don't even know it. It's like a bear, man. And we look forward to seeing that. So JL Gribble, I got to ask you this question: what do you hope to see within the Ahsoka series moving forward?
other than West Chatham, I'm looking forward to seeing what's probably going to be a fairly non-traditional, based on just what we've seen, the dynamics that we've seen before of Master and Padawan between Ahsoka and Sabine, because Ahsoka has never been a traditional Jedi, and Sabine has barely any Force. She's a badass because she's Mandalorian, and she has experience. But Ahsoka and Sabine also, like one of you mentioned trauma earlier. Both of them grew up at war, and that leaves some scars, and there's probably going to be some conflict involving that too. I know that I really appreciated that Sabine was basically mourning the family that she had, because, you know, even though the war's over, that's a good thing, but she lost, you know, her support system in the process. And so that's, you know, one of the reasons why she's like not hung up on Ezra, because it's certainly not like a romantic vibe there, but why she still, you know, wants to find him. And side note, I love that they cast a brown guy to play Ezra. I thought that was really cool, and I'm looking forward to seeing him in live action too. I hope we do get to see that in the show, beyond just the little hollow video that he left her.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, new up and coming actors and actresses in this cast, and I love it. I love that they're doing that, because to play these live action versions of these characters, I want to see new faces. I want to see some new talent, fresh blood. You know, see them come up, baby. So that's what I want to see. But my question to Derek Tyler Attico is, what do you hope to see, or what do you think's going to go down in these next few episodes here, Derek?
Well, I would say it feels to me like Ahsoka is definitely Dave Filoni's baby, right? But is Dave Filoni kind of let loose, you know? And I love that, because we get to see him flex everything he's learned from George Lucas, plus his own style, you know, everything he's learned from being an animator and all that, and his storytelling ability, which is just phenomenal. So we get to see that, and I'm excited to see that being pushed forward. Then on top of that, Rebels really had more information and storytelling about, as JL was saying, or touched on, about the Jedi, and about what it means to be a master and an apprentice, really more than any other element of Star Wars, probably than the books. And so I definitely want to see more of that and see how that unfolds. And then, you know, I'm pretty sure, I'm hopeful that we get to see Ezra, and I know we're going to get to see Thrawn, and where those two are, and this other galaxy. You know, just the idea that Filoni is pushing forward. You know, we've been told for 30, 40 years a galaxy far, far away, and now Dave Filoni is pushing against that, and saying, okay, yes, we know about that, but I'm pushing into another galaxy and what's happening there. And that's what a writer does, is that you push out, you push forward. So Ezra and Thrawn are now in this other galaxy, and we're going to see that as well. So I'm excited for all of that, and to see how the Force and everything relates in this other galaxy, and how, you know, all of that interacts with everything we've known for the last 40 years. That's going to be dope. So I'm ready. You know, take my money. I'm ready. Let's go. Let's go.
Though, as somebody who did read a lot of the Star Wars novelizations before they were all retconned, part of me is like, other galaxy? No, that's a terrible idea. Why would you go there?
no. I mean, I've read a lot of the other stuff too. You know, but I'm ready for that, because the threats, the beauties out there. There's just so much of the stuff out there, right? And so let's go. Let's find out what it is, and you know, let's see. That's going to be fun. I think it's going to be fun.
I can tell someone's excited over here. So for me, the young actors, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with Baylan Skoll and Shin Hati's relationship between Ray Stevenson and Ivana.
I think they're going to be a great foil to whatever we see between Ahsoka and Sabine too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Master and apprentice versus another master and apprentice. I'm curious, and
especially because you know, Raylan was obviously brought up through the Jedi Temple, but
Right.
that's where he found Shin, and
Right.
you know what her exposure to what a Jedi should be like. We don't know that yet, so
he's not Sith. He's not.
no, they have red lightsabers, but whatever. Like,
Right.
That's the thing.
Well,
Like,
they're orange, aren't they? They're not red.
orange.
yeah,
actually.
they weren't. Yeah,
Yeah,
Like, which is
they're
like-
not red, but
right,
they do
so-
look awfully a lot like red. And I'm thinking, well, if you got a red lightsaber and you're killing New Republic officers at will, you're a Sith, dude.
Yeah, no, I don't think he's a Sith. I think he's like an opportunist. You know, he's like
opportunist. Yeah,
if
like
this was
an anti-hero.
He'd be like neutral evil or neutral. You know what I'm saying? He's
Gray Jedi, maybe.
yeah, something around there because
he's
he's
darker gray than Ahsoka is.
More like
yeah,
darker gray.
yeah.
Are we going into not 50 Shades, but darker gray, 50 Shades of darker gray? I don't know. No, we're not going there, by the way, because that's a completely separate conversation for a completely separate video.
Definitely.
But no, for me, those two, Balin and Shin, for me at the moment, until they prove me otherwise, they're Sith. They're straight up
Oh, and then
Sith.
that Morak guy whose helmet we haven't seen come off. You can't forget
Oh
him.
yeah, the other dude too.
Yeah.
He showed up.
Yeah, right.
He has the spinning. He has the
He
spinning.
has the spinny like
he's
Inquisitor
like an
style
Inquisitor.
one.
He's
So
like an Inquisitor.
That's right. Oh,
I thought he was a droid, but apparently he's an assassin who's wearing a suit, and I'm thinking, oh boy. So we got three. No, not three. We got four, not counting Thrawn. We got four antagonists. You got Morgan, Balin, Shin, and the other dude. I can't remember his name. I
I
apologize.
think it's Morok or something like that. Yeah.
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 Right. Plus the assault droids, assassin droids, which are
That's So there's a lot of antagonists to play with in this sandbox, which I'm curious to see where that goes. For me, I'm looking forward to seeing how they get the map back, if at all. If they
Right.
get the orb back, if they unlock the map, and then Sabine tells Ahsoka, "This is where your not no new best friend. This is where your old enemy Thrawn is hiding. Let's go get him." I say we go get him. Let's get him. So I'm curious to see how they get the map back, if at all. Number two, I want to see Ahsoka train Sabine. I want to see it. I want to see this Jedi who's been around for so long and she's been through so much, pass these lessons on to Sabine and say, Sabine, if you're going to survive with these new enemies that are out there, you got to do this. And I want to see it. I want to see a new kind of Luke Yoda vibe here. I want to see it. I want to see all of it. So I'm looking forward to it.
Sabine's ready because she did the whole cliche, cut her hair, cut her hair off.
Put
So.
her Mandalorian armor on too.
Right.
She looked dead into the camera.
Right. I'm ready.
I'm ready.
Right.
I'm ready.
Right.
I am ready for war. Like these people tried to kill. Well, they kind of killed me for like 2 minutes, and then I woke up in the infirmary.
And that scene is an exact cut from the scene from Rebels.
Is it?
It's an exact cut from live action, and the animation is an exact cut. I saw somebody post that on Twitter, on X, whatever, and I was like, "Oh wow, it's the same thing." So that's interesting. So, yeah. So Filoni is, he's crushing it.
He knows what he's doing. This is his sandbox, right? He knows how to put everything together. I mean, as far as we're concerned, but yeah, I look forward to seeing where this journey goes. I look forward to seeing Sabine being trained by Ahsoka because that's going to be dope. That's going to be rad.
With your Yang's commentary in the background, it's going to be delightful. And a droid who doesn't have a name that's just letters and numbers, and he's like centuries old. I love that.
Right. And aren't they building like a hyper jump gate?
Yeah.
Right? To go to the other galaxy.
Stargate, as it were.
Well, if you want to cross over, as Egon taught us 40 years ago, there's one important thing I forgot to tell you. Don't cross the streams.
Don't cross the streams. Never cross the streams, right?
Why? It could be bad.
I'm
a little fuzzy on the whole good bad thing. What do you mean bad? Think about every particle in your body and everything on life as you know it's splitting at the speed of light. Total platonic reversal. Okay, that's bad. All right, thanks, Egon. Anyway, which by the way, that movie turns 40 next year, so get ready. Don't worry, we're gonna do a anniversary celebration watch along for that. Don't worry, you're all invited if you want.
That's crazy.
If you want to stop by the firehouse and hang out with us,
That's crazy.
Have a sandwich, and then have our friendly neighborhood secretary say, "We got one," we just roam out. Anyway, so the bottom line is this: Ahsoka has arrived, and she's kicking tail. She's taken the names, and now she and Sabine are in a ship on a way into the galaxy far, far away to get that map and orb back from Morgan and her cronies and figure out where the heck Thrawn is hiding. And if he is hiding, we're going to take him out. So if they do. So we'll see what happens, but this is a mission, right? This is the debut of Ahsoka's weekly mission. We hope you enjoyed this episode, this debut episode of Ahsoka's weekly mission. Can you tell that we're excited about Star Wars? Yes, we are. So J.L. Gribble, where can the person watching or listening to this follow you on social media and all the incredible things you got going on?
So I am an urban fantasy and queer paranormal romance author. I'm also a prolific book reviewer, and you can find everything about that, including my book review blog, at jlgribble.com. And I also spend way too much time on social media at Hana Edits or on Facebook. You can find my author group at JL Gribble's Reader Guild. So come say hi and talk more about how awesome Sabine is.
Ooh, I'm going to have to join that group. I'm going to have to get on that. I got to add this to my itinerary. But thank you.
It's unintentional, and I don't know if you can see it through my crappy camera, but I do have purple hair. And it's not, it's not in honor of Sabine, but I'm definitely enjoying my Sabine vibes.
Oh, Sabine. Hey, we don't mind that around here. Derek Tyler Attico, where could the person watching or listening to this follow you on social media and all the incredible stuff you got going on, both in the Star Warsian and the Star Trekian galaxy?
Well, you can find me at my website, Derek Tyler Attico, or derekattico.com. You can find me in social media at Attico, Dattico, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I have the autobiography of Benjamin Sisko, which is the Star Trek Deep Space Nine captain. That book comes out October 10th and is available now for pre-order. And you can always reach out to me and talk to me about Star Trek or about Star Wars at any time, and I'll be happy to have a discussion with you. That's it.
Ryan, you were muted yourself.
Oh yeah, sorry. I'm being weird. Sorry, my bad. So yeah, I'm weird. Sorry. Technically, hey, it's a Millennium Falcon. It's had a few issues.
A few glitches. That's all right.
It happens all the time. So boy, what a great way to end this show, me doing it wrong. So my name is Ryan of Nerd Culture. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at RyanRPM5. Also, make sure you're following all these incredible people that joined us for this episode. The links are located within the description of this video. So check out what J.L. Gribble's doing. Check out what Derek Tyler Attico's got coming up. A lot of great things these two incredible panelists are doing. So definitely support them. Check them out. They're incredible. And we look forward to having them again at some point in the future. Maybe they'll come back for another episode of Ahsoka's Weekly Mission. We don't know. If you want to see him back, let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat. Be curious to hear your thoughts. But listen, this has been great. We hope you've enjoyed this. It's a great time to be a fan of not just Star Wars, but of anything that you're a fan of. It's just a great time to be a fan. It's a great time. It's a great time to celebrate the stuff that we love most. It's a great time. So why don't we all do it together? Why don't we do it together? Because to me, that's when we're strongest, as one. See what I did there? You're welcome. So don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, ring that bell so you get notified of when our new videos go live. I will let you in on this programming note. Ahsoka's Weekly Bounty is going to be moving to Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, starting in 2 weeks from now. So in 2 weeks, we'll have episode 2. We're basically going to be talking about episodes 2 and 3 because by then episode 3 would have dropped. So we're going to talk. Basically, it's going to be a double header, guys. We're going to be talking about episodes 3 and 4, episodes 3 and 4, and it's going to be a lot of fun. We have some great guests that we've lined up for that episode, and we are so excited to have them here in the Millennium Falcon, I guess, co-pilots, chairs, maybe the Ghost ship. I don't know. Whichever ship that you like the most, let us know in the comments. We're curious to hear your thoughts. But in the meantime, stay healthy, stay strong, stay safe, and remember, the Force will be with you always. Take a look.
There's so many. Has anyone been to them all?
Not likely.
I want to be the first one to see them all.
Truly wonderful the mind of a child is.
Come on.
When you find people who need your help, you help them. No matter what.
We have hope. Hope that things can get better. And they will.
Stand up together. Because that's when we're strongest. As one.
You won't be going alone. You'll have a friend with you.
No. I'll have a Jedi with me.
You might wanna buckle up, baby.
Rise
in the Force.
Take care of us, little one.
It'll take care of you. We had each other. That's how we won.
Force is strong in my family.
Its energy surrounds us and binds us.
What is it they've sent us?
Hope.